So I've officially finished my first book of the year, and it's Show Your Work by Austin Kleon, and I actually liked it. So this is my first book review on my channel. You're welcome back, guys. Okay, so this technically my second book, but officially my first book of the year. I think my first book, the first book I actually finished this year was Designing Your Dream Life. And but I'm not counting that because I actually started it last year and work got so crazy that I was only reading, should I say, one page. I was literally going at snail speed and I could not finish up. So I finished it this year and now I've started another one. So I want to just focus on Share Your Work. So Share Your Work by Austin Kleon is a non-fiction book. But I'm trying to see if I can actually classify it as a self-help. Is this a yes, it's self-help. Yeah, I'll just classify it as a self-help book. Um, so it's a very short read, about 150 pages, and I love how it's structured. The chapters is very easy on the eyes too. The chapters are, should I say, bit-sized. They are very short. You would hardly know you've gone through a chapter, and I actually liked it. It's geared towards anyone who wants to start showing their work, putting themselves out there more, or for content creators. Basically, like the name suggests, show your work is it's supposed to be like a guide on putting yourself and your work out there. And I actually thought it was very helpful if you fall into any of these categories that I've mentioned earlier. So he did share up to I think 10 um, ways to share your work or 10 things to note in sharing your work. But I'm going to share five that stood out to me. And I'm going to start immediately with the first one. You don't have to be a genius. And this one is basically speaking to all of us that feel like amateurs and that we have to be an expert before we show ourselves to the public. And what Austin really said about amateurs really got me excited. In fact, it has me wanting to retain my amateurish status, for life. And this is what he said, guys. He said that there's an advantage that amateurs have over these so-called experts, and is that they are not afraid to be themselves. They are not afraid to make mistakes. They are not afraid to look ridiculous in public. And I agree. Here, being an amateur is basically encouraging us to follow our wings, to create like we have nothing to lose, to constantly be in a state of learning. In fact, there's something I've always heard of, which is building in public. Austin Kleon also refers to this again in his talk about you not having to be a genius. He's basically saying that you can be like an amateur. They're constantly tinkering, they're constantly, experimenting and playing around with things. And that's actually how you find out what works and what doesn't. So the first lesson I was able to go with this is basically be an amateur, never stop learning. And if you are currently in the process of learning, it's actually okay to share your work. That is, if you feel like you don't have any work to share, I'm going to share your process. Basically, take us through the process and learn in public. Let's watch you grow. That's also a way of showing your work. The second lesson is take people behind the scenes. And I don't know about you, but I know sometimes I enjoy these behind the scenes, videos. And I'm sure a lot of people do too because I always find millions of views on a lot of behind the scenes videos. Behind the scenes videos, I think Get Ready With Me videos are also part of it. But behind the scenes videos take, the audience through your work. But there's something I noted when I was reading this part because I felt like this refers to people who are handy, painters, dressmakers, sculptors. It's easier for them to discuss behind the scenes of their work. So, what of those of us who do more, should I say, mental work? Not mental work exactly. How do I say it? Things that we cannot see. Let's say a writer, for instance. How do you take us through the process of, taking us behind the scenes? Now, to this, he suggests documenting, and that makes total sense to me. Document your life or your work through journals, through photos, through videos. And this is something I've learned recently, by instead of, if you feel like you don't have a proper behind the scene process to share, you can do this via talking, making a video talking about it, or taking photos or writing about it and sharing as a blog post or whatever. It humanizes you. If you have a brand, it humanizes you because humans relate more to humans. So when they see that, oh, your process is just as messy, and when you come up with this thing so beautiful, there was actually a messy process behind it. It humanizes you more. It makes people want to relate to you more, and basically people follow people, and you're able to gather a more genuine crowd, when you're able to go behind the scenes. The third thing is share something small daily. And I think this is preaching the gospel of consistency. And I know this is not the easiest thing, but it speaks to the power of consistency and, of course, the power of compounding. That every thing you do daily towards your goal actually adds up. If, for instance, you're trying to be a content creator, putting yourself more out there, now at the beginning it's always very, tedious and discouraging because your tribe or your audience is not going to find you immediately. You might be stuck on one view, or just one person reading it, or feeling like you're talking to an empty space. But guess what? By showing up daily, the first thing it does for you, beyond your ultimate goal of having an audience, the first thing showing up daily is that it builds discipline. Why showing up daily or sharing something daily works is that number one, it builds discipline, and number two, it quickly shows you what works and what doesn't. And you begin to reiterate. You fail quickly and you reiterate and you get better. Now, the author Austin encourages creators to pick just one media or any media at all that catches your fancy and run with it. So it could be Instagram, it could be YouTube, it could be LinkedIn. The most important thing is put out a post every day. Apart from building discipline, it helps you get over perfectionism faster. And you get over the fear of putting out work that has to be perfect, or putting off creating just because you think it's not perfect. And most importantly, for me, the personal takeaway from me from this particular bit on sharing something daily is that you actually get to put in the work, because you can't give what you don't have. I mean, you can't share if you don't create, right? You have to create something before you share. If you're not doing the work and you're just focused on sharing, then you will just become one of those people who are online telling you how they made millions from forex trading. Meanwhile, they don't know how to trade. They are actually, in fact, making money from telling you or selling you a course on how to get rich on forex trading. That's basically what it's like when you don't put in the work. And one final bit on sharing something daily is that you should treat the internet as a copy machine. And I love that he highlighted this, that look, if you share something today, there's you should share as if the whole world is going to see it. So you wouldn't want to put out something that will get you into trouble or that you do not want the whole world to see. Because once it's out there on the internet, you can delete it from your space. But how are you sure that someone has not, kept or archived it somewhere? So basically, in sharing, apply wisdom and don't share something that you would not want the whole world to see. That should be your, watchword when it comes to sharing. He also gives something to watch out for on sharing. Is it useful and is it interesting? This should be your guides. But for me, I'm more focused on is it useful, because anything can be interesting. People are interested in the weirdest things, and they're definitely interested in tea. So if you put your whole stuff out there, including the things that are not supposed to be out there, people are going to find that interesting. So let's work with, is it useful? All right. And then the fourth point is give credit. If you use a creator's work, this one is really simple, but apparently many people don't do it. If you use a creator's work, please credit that creator. If possible, give timestamps, not just who said it, when did this person say it. It's incredibly important. And I think it's even more important if you're trying to get into content creation. You understand this more, because you see how painful it can be if someone uses your ideas or your work to go viral and they do not even bother acknowledging you or giving you the credit for it. So you shouldn't do the same thing, to others. Please give credit, to other people's work. And if you are someone who uses other people's work, please do not forget to give credit. Give credit, give credit. It encourages the creator to create more, and you help draw attention to the original creator and sell out. I love this part the most because you need to eat food and you need to pay rent, right? So don't be afraid of monetizing your craft. I think some people have this romanticized idea of originality or creativity in the sense that they feel like if they start making money off their craft, it takes away from them in a way, or takes away their originality or creativity, or they feel like it doesn't make them any more authentic. No, look, banish the idea of the starving artist from your mind. Please monetize your craft. If it means calling for donation, use donations, crowdfund if need be, charge what you're worth, charge for your services. Yes, you're going to give away value, a lot of value actually, for free. But if someone hires you, do not be afraid to call an amount that will keep the lights on. Don't go charging maybe 5 naira or $5 when you know that thing is actually worth 1,000. So what this means is, I think another point that he made on selling out is, if you are going to be charging, this means that you have to, be dedicated to getting better at your craft so you can charge even more. Another thing is, don't hate on your favorite creator when they finally blow up. And this one is geared to fans because, hey, your love is not what they will eat. I'm sorry to say, but it's the truth. Your love is not what they will eat. They need food on their table, and they don't have to starve to remain creative. Okay, so if they get a huge deal, be happy for them. In fact, if you can connect them to deals, connect them. If you enjoy their work, you should want to see them get paid for it. So support your creators. Don't support them when they finally sell out. And you, as a creator, selling out should not be your main aim. As you create some more, and don't forget to make money out of it. So basically, these are my five favorite points from this book. There's more, but you have to get the book right to find out. So, am I recommending this? Yes. If you're an overthinker, you want to get into content creation, or you want to start sharing your work because, hey, your work is not going to speak for itself. I'm sorry, that's the world we are in now. You have to speak for your work. That is it. So, yes, you're doing great, you're doing good things. You have to promote, 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 promote. And if you're looking for a pointer on where to get started, I highly recommend Austin Kleon's show Your Work. All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I think my next book review is going to be a fictional book. I did mention in my first video that I want to be exploring more fiction, and I have an African literature in mind, but I've not chosen. Let me put it out here so I'll be forced to read it. This Second Class Citizen by Buchi Emecheta. Second Class Citizen by Buchi Emecheta. So yes, that's the book I'll be reading next. So I'll see you in my next video. Please like, share, and comment and subscribe. Bye.